Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite MLB home run predictions for today. We are talking Thursday, June 26th. The Dong Report is back in your life. I'm gonna spray the board once again today with my favorite home run predictions. So I got 8 players on Dong Watch for you guys to lock in. Just remember to lower that unit size with a bigger card. But I am very confident in the 8 plays that we have for today. And before we get into all that, let's do a recap from yesterday, which was another really good day. You know, we're on a pretty nice roll over the last 5-6 days or so. Obviously, we were pretty cold before that, but it's been really good recently, and that came through once again yesterday. We got Jazz Chisholm Jr. to hit a home run. We got Joe Adele to hit a home run, and we got Nick Kurtz to hit a home run. 3 of those guys coming through with Logan O'Hoppe. He ended up not starting, so we got this one refunded. Ended the day yesterday up 0.86 units. Again, that's putting 0.1 units on every single one of these guys. Obviously, the more units you put on it, the more you profited. On the entire season, we're still working our way back to get to green on the year, but we are getting close. You know, we have another week like we just had. We'll be in the green on the year, and then it's only going to be uphill from there. Down 3.73 units, down about 4.5% ROI on the year if you're following my unit size guiding. If you're just putting 1 unit on every single one, you're actually up about 11 units the way the kind of odds shook out and everything like that. So it's been really good. Depending on when you joined, you might have, if you joined in the last week, congratulations, you got a really nice run. If you joined at the beginning of the season, this is what you're at. So all in all, I'm pretty pleased with the way things are going. A decent dong slate today. It's not super juicy in terms of weather. And then it's also not super juicy in terms of the pitching matchups, but there were a lot of situations that I liked, obviously, that I'm diving into. So Coors is obviously going to be good. Now Progressive Field is good, but I actually don't have a play on this one. The one thing that I just wanted to give a shout out to, not a shout out, a mention is I think that there is something with the formula for Weather Edge because they have this Braves Mets game as a plus 57 home run differential. That doesn't make any sense with 14-mile-an-hour winds blowing in and temperatures in the mid 60s when it's been in the 90s. So I'm guessing this is just running off of some old data. First thing in the morning when I record these, Weather Edge hasn't always updated. Some of them are good and some of them match like what Ballpark Pal has. Like this Rockies Dodgers game, even from a weather perspective, is good from both of them. And it's obviously also a good stadium. Now Coors, we all know the thing with Coors is the ball carries more, but Coors also has a really big outfield. So it has to carry more in order for it to be a home run. So you'll see a lot of 420-foot doubles at Coors Field because of how big their outfield is. So something to keep in mind in Coors is, yes, the ball carries more, but it also needs to in order for it to be a home run. But it is still really good weather in Coors from a home run perspective. It's hot. The wind or the air is what I'm looking for in the 90s. And obviously the pressure is going to help with the carry. So all that stuff. The reason why I'm talking about Coors is that's where my first 2 plays are. Jordan Beck to hit a home run and Teoscar Hernandez, taking both of them to hit a home run. Now, Teoscar admittedly has pretty stinky odds at plus 250. That's disgusting. I get it. Whereas Beck is more reasonable at plus 500. Ballpark Pal really likes Beck, so that's obviously a good sign. The thing with both of these guys is they're both going up against left-handed pitchers, and both of these guys annihilate left-handed pitching. Both Teoscar Hernandez and Jordan Beck crush left-handed pitching. Now, the thing that I wanted to highlight with Teoscar specifically is you could make the argument that he's actually the hottest batter on the Dodgers at this point in time. He leads the team in hard hits over the last 14 days with 18. That's a really good number. That's healthy. 18 hard hits in the last 2 weeks is good. 5 barrels in that stretch as well with a barrel rate of 16.7%. It is not amazing. It's respectable. Still pretty decent numbers. You look at the last week, again, leads the Dodgers with 11 hard hits, and he has 3 barrels. He also had a really good day at the plate yesterday. He didn't hit a home run, but he had 3 hard hits. The only batter in the game that had more than 2 hard hits, you see that Teoscar Hernandez had 3. And you look at all 3 of those hard hits, above 100 miles an hour line out, above 100 miles an hour fly out, above 100 miles an hour single. All 3 of them did not have a negative launch angle, which is good. Now, 2 of them were hit too low, and then 1 of them was hit too high. So he needs to get that Goldilocks, just get it right perfectly in the middle. But I like the fact that he had 3 hard hits, and it wasn't like he just smacked them directly into the ground. And you look at him on the year against left-handed pitching, It's phenomenal. Absolutely, absolutely phenomenal. His ISO rate is 417 against lefties. That's amazing. I mean, he's been a lefty killer his entire career. That's still been the case this year. Obviously leads the Dodgers in terms of ISO rate against lefties. You look at barrel rate, not quite as good in terms of barrel rate, actually only a 4.8% barrel rate. That's admittedly low, but he hits lefties for a lot of power. Now, if you look at the last 30 days for barrel rate, it's a little bit better for him at 7.7%. It's kind of interesting how low that barrel rate is against lefties, but he does enough damage against lefties on the year that I'm comfortable even with kind of the wonky low barrel rate. He's killed lefties his entire career. And then the pitcher he's going up against, Austin Gomber, is a home run guy. On the year, he's allowed 3 home runs to righties. He hasn't made a ton of starts this year. I think he's only made 2, but he got hit up in his last start, 3 home runs allowed. I mean, these numbers across the board are disgusting. I mean, 14.71% barrel rate, horrible. 40% hard hit rate, bad. Fly ball rate above 40% is really, really bad. So I like Teoscar a lot. And then the other guy I wanted to mention, who I am taking, is Jordan Beck, who's another guy that hits lefties really hard. On the year, 273 ISO rate against left-handed pitching is really good. His barrel rate on the year, 18.2% against lefties. That's really good. That's a lot more normal than what we saw with Teoscar Hernandez. And then over the last 30 days, that barrel rate goes up to 20%. And a decent number of plate appearances as well. 25 plate appearances is against a lefty over the course of a month is pretty good. 20% barrel rate, 65% hard hit rate. Really, really good numbers. Only hits a ground ball 25% of the time. Now, Kershaw is the lefty pitcher for the Dodgers. 10 years ago, we wouldn't want to touch this play. Now, Kershaw's not quite the same guy. And Beck, over the last month, barrel rate 16.67%, hard hit rate 60%, fly ball rate 35%. Doesn't quite exactly match what Plate IQ has, but every website kind of tracks things a little bit differently. The fact of the matter is it's really, really good, and that's all we're really looking for. So Jordan Beck, Teoscar Hernandez, taking both of them to hit a home run as my first 2 plays. Next up, we're heading to the Tigers versus Athletics game, and I'm taking 2 guys in that one as well. Brent Rooker, I'm taking him to hit a home run, and Wenceel Perez, I'm taking him to hit a home run. It's actually very, very similar situation to the Rockies game, where 2 lefty pitchers on the mound, Jeffrey Springs for the Athletics, and this one's a total unknown, Dietrich Enns for the Tigers. Both of them are lefties, and I'm going with 2 lefty killers for both of these teams. Now, Wenceel Perez is obviously much, much smaller sample size than guys. He's honestly closer to Jordan Beck, where he's kind of come on the scene this year and really hit left-handed pitching hard, where Rooker has a much longer sample size of crushing lefties. But you look at Rooker, you go to him on the year. We're going to Athletics batters. Let's look at the entire year. Barrel rate against lefties, 14% is good. That's pretty good. ISO rate against lefties, 215 is also pretty good. You look at him over the last 30 days against lefties, 218 ISO rate is fine, and a barrel rate of 15.5% is pretty good. Now, the pitcher he's going up against is a complete and total unknown. So I didn't want to target a bunch of Athletics guys because what if he ends up being a stud? This guy, Dietrich Enns, he hasn't pitched in the major leagues since 2021. He was a draft pick, I think, by the Yankees in 2012 or something. He's old. He's 34. God, the guy's ancient at 34. He spent a couple years in the Japan League, and then the Tigers signed him to a minor league deal. So this is his first major league start, again, since 2021. I read the scouting report on him. He doesn't throw fast at all, but he's got decent movement. So he could end up shutting down this Athletics team because he's been out of the majors for 4 years and kind of refined his stuff. We've seen pitchers do that, come back in the major leagues, having refined their stuff, and in Japan and look a lot better. So this could end up being a situation where he ends up pitching well and then Rooker doesn't do anything. He could obviously hit one off the bullpen, but that's why I didn't want to target a bunch of guys because it's just an unknown from a pitching matchup. But Rooker has been hitting very well recently. So you want to look at the same stuff that I always look at. Hard hits last 7 days, he's got 8, but he's got 4 barrels. That's really, really good. Last 14 days, he's got 5 barrels, which is good, and 16 hard hits, which is okay. He also hit really well yesterday. He was one of the only guys that had a bunch of hard hits in this game yesterday. He had 3. Nobody else on the Athletics had more than 1. And you look into those 3, again, very similar to Teoscar Hernandez. 106 miles an hour off the bat. So it was hit really fast. Now it was a ground out. You don't want to see a negative launch angle, but it was hit hard. But then what we're looking at here, 102 miles an hour off the bat, 400 feet. Brutal that wasn't a home run. Then another 101 miles an hour off the bat, 39-degree launch angle, 360 feet. So 2 hard hit flyouts above 100 miles an hour is very important. And then Wenceel Perez also had a decent day at the plate. He had 2 hard hits. The Tigers didn't do anything, but he did have 2 hard hits. One of them was a ground out at 95 miles an hour, so we can ignore that one. So it's really just 1 hard hit, but it was annihilated, 104 miles an hour off the bat, traveled 361 feet. If he just got a little bit more over this one, 20-degree launch angle, this is probably a home run, but it was a triple, which is obviously impressive. And then Wenceel Perez hasn't been playing this entire year, but he's got really good numbers against lefties. Wenceel Perez, 26% barrel rate against lefties. ISO rate, I mean, an absurd 632. That's ridiculous. That ISO rate, that's definitely a small sample size type thing. And then Jeffrey Springs, who's pitching for the Athletics, isn't terrible. It's not like he can only get hit up by righties and lefties, by righties, but he's definitely not anybody to be scared of. Home run every 22 at-bats, 12 home runs allowed to righties on the year. These numbers across the board are okay. They're not horrible. They're not like Dick Fitz yesterday. They're not like the guy I just showed you, Austin Gomber, but they're also not scary against lefties. It's kind of the same thing. Some more green, some more red. It's kind of hit or miss. But yeah, he doesn't. I guess he is a little bit better against lefties, although that home run was hit recently. So which is why I didn't want to go with a guy like Kurtz or anything like that. Why I just wanted to stick with why I didn't want to go with a lefty on the Tigers. Like Riley Green, anything like that. But yeah, Rooker, Wenceel Perez, them two. I like the odds on both of them. I should have given you the odds, or I should say I like the look on both of them. Rooker was 390. This might have gone up to 400. Let me refresh and see. Because okay, so 390 is what I got, and then 600 on Perez is also what I got. So you got the same, looking at the same 2 prices that I got. Wenceel Perez 390 for Brent Rooker, 390. Wenceel Perez 600. Moving on. Now I'm gonna have 4 plays in this Braves versus Mets game. Juan Soto, I'm taking him to hit a home run. Francisco Lindor, I'm taking him to hit a home run. Matt Olson and Ronald Acuna Jr. Now, I do want to be very clear. The reason I have so many guys in this game is not because this weather edge incorrect stat of 57% positive home run differential. That's not true. It's much, much closer to what Ballpark Pal has, which is average. The stadium is slightly a hitter's park, weather, it's slightly above average. The reason I'm going with 4 guys in this game, there's just a bunch of hot batters in this one. So, and the pitchers are not anything to be scared of, especially Grant Holmes. Grant Holmes is somebody that can definitely get hit up. And Soto and Lindor are both hitting the ball very, very well, especially Soto. I mean, you look just in the entire MLB, hard hits over the last 14 days. Juan Soto is one of 8 batters that has 22 or more in a 14-day span. That's really, really good. You want to look at his barrels in that rate. In that same time frame, he is second in the MLB with 9 barrels. It's really, really impressive what Juan Soto is doing at the plate recently. And you go to his game logs and you see yesterday, 3 hard hits, 2 barrels. Now, none the day before that, but then 2 hard hits, 2 barrels. And then none the day before that, 3 hard hits, 3 barrels. So it's like an every other day thing for Soto. So maybe if those trends continue, we should back him tomorrow and not today. But when he's just hitting the ball as well as he is in a decent matchup, I just wanted to continue to go with him. And then Lindor is not quite as hot at the plate as Soto, but he is hitting the ball pretty well. He's got 4 barrels over the last 14 days, which is healthy. 18 hard hits, which is actually really good. That's the same number as Teoscar Hernandez. So he's been hitting the ball hard, just can't quite barrel it up. But you look at the last 7 days, 3 of those barrels have been in the last week, and then 10 hard hits is also a pretty healthy number as well. And then you look at when those barrels came for Francisco Lindor, it's in his last 5 games. So the week is really in his last 5 games, and like 1 hard hit, 1 barrel, 2 hard hits, 1 barrel, 2 hard hits, no barrels, but then yesterday 3 hard hits, 1 barrel. And then same thing, you want to look at what he did at the plate yesterday for Francisco Lindor. Again, he had the 3 hard hits, as did Soto. And you look at the exit velocity. Soto, I mean, just annihilated the baseball. Soto's insane. But then Lindor, 107 mile an hour off the bat line out. Lindor, 104 miles an hour off the bat line out. And then he had a flyout that traveled 414 feet, was a home run in 22 of 30 stadiums. So 3 hits above 100 miles an hour, all 3 put in the air in some capacity. Very, very impressive. And then those are the 2 guys on the Mets. The 2 guys on the Braves also hitting the ball really well. Acuna, I mean, they both only had 1 hard hit yesterday, but Acuna's was 110 miles an hour off the bat, and he has just been absolutely on fire recently. Acuna has just been insane at the plate. You look at the Braves, leading the team in hard hits over the last week is Matt Olson with 11, tied with Austin Riley. Acuna's got 9 with a couple barrels, and then you go back to the last 14 days, Acuna leads the team in barrels with 6, and then they're tied, Acuna and Olson, with the most hard hits. Now, 4 barrels for Olson is pretty good. The guy they're going up against, Griffin Canning, it's his first year on the Mets. He had been a dong guy the entirety of his career. I mean, these aren't terrible, but then 2.01, bad. These 3 numbers are bad. This year, he's been better in terms of allowing home runs, but none of his advanced stats really show you anything that impressive. You go down to like his barrel rate allowed, it's actually higher than what it was last year. You go to his hard hit rate allowed, higher than what it was last year. The biggest difference is his launch angle. He cut in half from the year before. His ground ball rate is up 10% from the year before. So guys aren't able to put it in the air as much, but they are hitting the ball very hard off of Griffin Canning. And I'm not a huge batter versus pitcher guy, but I do know that Olson's had success. Oh, I didn't even do that. Olson's had success against him. I guess it was more recent. It was longer ago, but I believe Olson has 2 home runs against Canning in his career, if I remember correctly. Ballpark Pal only shows the last 3 years, so maybe it was farther away than that. But yeah, it's nothing that I'm scared of for Griffin Canning. And then 2 guys that are just destroying the baseball, and Matt Olson, especially Ronald Acuna with his EV logs, are just ridiculous. And he continues to do it. So he hasn't hit a home run in a couple days. That doesn't really scare me off. But that's all we got. So 8 guys for you to lock in to hit a home run tonight. The 8, and these were all sent out to my Tails account, which is what you're seeing on the screen right now. Let me zoom in a little bit. 0.1 units on each of them, risking 0.8 units total. Jordan Beck at plus 500. Teoscar Hernandez at plus 250. Wensiel Perez, 600. Brent Rooker, plus 390. Francisco Lindor, plus 450. Juan Soto, 400. Matt Olson, plus 320. And Ronald Acuna Jr., plus 375. Appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. Check out the links in the description of the video. If you want to support the channel, like a link to my Tails account, a link to Ballpark Pal if you want to sign up. Most importantly, make sure to bet responsibly and have a good one.